The story of this house started in 2018. We had this idea of having a house in Trivandrum. When we identified this plot to be converted into a house and eventually our home, so we thought that whether design a concept which doesn't give that sort of grandiose from outside, so we always kept that sort of private space. So that's why he had actually made the concept according to the plot.
When we first went into the site with the client, the first thing that occurred to us is the busy neighborhood. Plot was located on that Kavdiya road. One of the first thing that we thought about is that how do you build a home in such a busy neighborhood, and there's constantly traffic moving, etc. And then when we went into the site, there was a slight topography to the site. If you look at it, the original site itself kind of slopes down into the back end of the site. So the idea was to kind of really create or kind of nestle in that house within a landscape. So eventually what happened is that that entire house in many ways floats in that landscape, and detach itself from the context. A lovely tree cover from the road, if you look at it. All of them kind of hides the house from the context, from the road. But when you are in the house, it opens up into those trees and it kind of really capture the sort of the light, air, etc., which kind of flows into that house. So that's where the idea really started. Every space is then carefully articulated to kind of respond to that. And so if you come into the living room flows into the dining. So the central space is, along with the courtyard, becomes a kind of completely social space. And that's where all the family comes together, and some of these things are very, very carefully planned.
Our project code name was The Bridge at Kavdiyar. So I asked him why we kept the name Bridge. So he wanted to have a bridge between nature and home. And then Miss Riya Krishna, she is the interior designer of this house. So she actually elevated the interiors of the space, contemporary and as well as classy touch to it. That actually completed the entire circle for us.
The house has got this beautiful concept of retaining enough privacy, and at the same time, it has got big windows, balconies, courtyards opening to a lot of landscape elements, and that are strategically placed in the whole house. And the furniture and other elements that are used in the project, there's sort of this kind of balance in between the materials and the exquisite finishes, precious finishes. So there we have used a lot of beiges, whites, metal accents, and there is this teal color that is sort of the color pop in the entire color palette in the ground floor, living room, dining, and the lounge part. The whole essence of every space really comes out in the lighting we have used. All the artworks in this house are bespoke created. We had our team of artists working laboriously on all the designs that we can see in the entire house.
The heart of the house is occupied by a very interesting commissioned work, The Last Supper. The initial drawing was done by my partner, Thomas Agasti. And once we started realizing it in 3D, after a point, I realized the challenges of working on a large frame means you have to have more hands because clay has a tendency to shrink and crack early. So finally, I had to rope in a couple of people for the menial work, doing the artistic work almost all by myself, and bringing in a student artist at the end to help with detailing.
house has got this really calm and somehow feels very poetic when everything just blends in together, like the lighting and the materials, the precious stones, marbles, veneers that we have picked, handpicked, and chosen. It somehow looks poetic and has got this tranquil kind of relaxed quality to it. In the end, a house should be a space where we feel refreshed, and this absolutely does that.
It was a dream come true that happened from design or on a drawing board or a rendering to seeing a finished look. Staying here is also quite peaceful, because you step out of the house, you have that sort of Trivandrum courtyard vibe right outside your house. But once you step in the house, you have that sort of serenity, peacefulness. You have that nature all around you. So it's a very zen environment inside the house. This is built for the family, for all of us. So once we start living here, making more memories, it will be more and more part of our lives, and we think that we all will stay more often here with all our children and grandchildren.